Internationally, we look to Libya next for the latest on the catastrophe there. The official count now more than 11,000 people known to have died in the flooding disaster. More than 10,000 are still missing. Search teams move through the ruins of Derna. That port city in eastern Libya was smashed by a torrent of floodwater when 2 dams collapsed. Witnesses say entire neighborhoods and the people living in them have been washed out to sea. Tens of thousands of people are now homeless as well. Abby Kugathasan has been bringing us the latest all through the week. Abby, we've just heard from the head of the UN's aid organization speaking about the scope of the disaster. What is the latest?
Heather, we know, as you say, more than 11,000 people have been confirmed dead, some 30,000 displaced in the eastern port city of Derna alone. And the UN giving that press conference a short while ago, calling this a dire humanitarian situation. They say these people who have survived now are in desperate need of shelter, food, and primary medical care. And the UN also obviously labeling this disaster in Libya as a catastrophe. Let's have a listen.
This is a tragedy in which climate and capacity has collided to cause this terrible, terrible tragedy. Derna, a city of, 100,000 people, 900,000 people affected, and this is on top of a situation in Libya where 300,000 people in Libya already needed humanitarian aid.
Now, when he says capacity, that, of course, is also about the capacity of the Libyan state and the operations that they could potentially be doing. When it comes to infrastructure, we understand that much of it has been neglected, particularly in the last 10 years. A government minister has actually now acknowledged that the dams were not properly maintained. We know that 2 of those dams were breached on Sunday when those floodwaters gushed into the city of Derna and other northern towns in Libya. Another issue now is the fact that the country is politically fractured. Neither the UN recognized government in the west in Tripoli nor the administration in the east issued an evacuation order ahead of Sunday's floods. Both sides acknowledging that this is a massive disaster, but certainly humanitarian relief efforts are going to be further complicated by this divide. We do know that international aid, there's plenty of images showing various planes from various countries landing in Benghazi with supplies. Benghazi is about 300 kilometers away from Derna. So the next challenge certainly is to get all those aid supplies and personnel into the city as quickly as possible to provide support for the survivors. But again, many of the roads into that port city have been damaged or destroyed, Heather, making that very difficult.
Thank you, Abby. Abby Kugathasan reporting for us this morning.